Hi, hello everyone, welcome back to a new video on this channel. Today we're going to be talking about GIRLSET, the group that's blowing up after their re-debut, their situation, and some controversies. So without anything else to add, let's get started.
Big eye roll, oh, bad vibes, that ain't my type. No drama when I arrive.
To give a bit of context, GIRLSET is the re-debut of a group previously known as VCHA, which I'm sure most of you already know. Basically they were a JYP group formed by Lexi, Camila, KG, Kendall, Savannah, and Kaylee. They were surrounded by a lot of controversy because they debuted with Girls of the Year in 2024 and didn't achieve the success people expected. Almost 4 months later it was announced that the youngest member, Kaylee, would be going on hiatus due to health issues, and in December, 1 year after their debut, KG revealed that she would be leaving JYP and filing a lawsuit against the company for child labor exploitation, negligence, and abuse. One of the most shocking allegations was that a member had attempted to take her own life due to the mistreatment. After that, Kaylee announced that she would also be leaving the group. I have a full video explaining everything in more detail if you want the full story, but that's the summary. JYP found themselves in a very delicate position. 2 members had left VCHA. Many people were calling for a boycott and saying the group would never recover, but honestly, I've seen the company pull off a complete turnaround, like a nobody thought this group could ever succeed again, and yet somehow they made it happen kind of situation. They stayed silent for months until little by little they began deleting the official accounts, wiping VCHA content from all social media, removing VCHA's artist profile from JYP's official website, and that's when the image shift began. In August, JYP released a statement saying that the 4 remaining members of VCHA would undergo a rebranding and debut as GIRLSET. They announced that they would be releasing a song called Commas, and they completely surprised everyone.
You keep looking at me like you wanna money on me, some money on me. I'm like, come on.
They left behind the cute concept that VCHA had and came back full force. Clearly both VCHA and GIRLSET were originally targeted toward an international audience, but they executed it terribly. From the name to the concept to the songs, nothing appealed to the general public, not even the Korean audience. It was almost as if they didn't want their attention. They wanted to reach a broader Western market, which left them stuck in the middle and without the support of either side. However, with GIRLSET they finally showed that powerful girl group image that does connect with the US audience, and their concept photos genuinely impressed me. From the styling to the makeup and, of course, the music, you can clearly see an image makeover that suits them much better and obviously works far more effectively than the cute idol approach. After that, they released Little Miss, once again proving that this isn't just a temporary concept change to ride the trend. It's not a case of releasing 1 or 2 songs and being forgotten. Instead, they're showing that they have the talent and the ambition to position themselves as one of the new reference girl groups. A lot of people have also said that JYP is trying to copy Hybe by creating a group to compete with katseye, but VCHA actually came out way before katseye. It's true, though, that as I mentioned earlier, their marketing strategy was undeniably terrible, because how do you expect a music video like that to appeal to an international audience? And I'm not saying a cute or innocent concept can't work in the Western market, but clearly this was not the way to achieve it. I think JYP felt they needed to go in the complete opposite direction from what they were doing with VCHA, otherwise the groups would feel too similar. And what they probably want now is for people to forget all the controversies surrounding VCHA, which I assume is also why they changed the name. Unfortunately the comparison to Hybe spread so much that the members were directly asked about it.
And some people unfortunately online have labeled GIRLSET as JYP's answer to Hybe's katseye. If you've seen those kind of conversations online, how do you guys respond to them?
It shouldn't be about that. It's amazing seeing so many beautiful, young, talented girls from different cultures coming together and making something so great. What they're doing is amazing and they're super sweet. So I think it's more about appreciating both, because I think we're both special in our own ways. So yeah, I think it's more about that. Let's just be girls.
Doing our own thing.
Yeah, let's play together. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the public's perception, because a lot of people, myself included, thought GIRLSET would be just another failed attempt from JYP to salvage the project. Honestly, nobody really believed JYP would invest real resources into them or take such a big risk by putting all their hopes on a single shot. The idea is that if this didn't work out, the group would probably disband because they would lose the small amount of Korean support they had left. It was all or nothing. However, commas genuinely exceeded expectations. It gained more views in a shorter time than any of VCHA's previous eras. The Little Miss music video already has 16 million views in less than 2 weeks, while VCHA's most watched video in 2 years only has 18 million. They also have way more visibility on social media, especially on TikTok, where a specific move from the choreography went viral.
Texty with my bestie in the group chat if it feels low. Texty with my bestie in the group chat if it feels low.
Many comments said that GIRLSET finally felt like a real group, that they had a level of charisma and confidence that wasn't noticeable before, probably because the old concept didn't fit them at all. This rebranding gave them a real second chance and essentially a redemption arc. Now the only question is whether they'll be able to maintain this momentum over time. This brings up a debate about whether people should or shouldn't support the group. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to present arguments for both sides because there isn't a single correct answer. And I'll say it clearly, you're not better or worse depending on whether you boycott or not. First of all, I do believe KG. Every single day of the week I will believe an idol who says their company mistreated them. Because unfortunately it's the norm. We're barely even shocked anymore when we hear about the way some idols are treated because it has become so normalized. If the situation truly became so unbearable that members of the group tried to take their own lives, that absolutely needs to be investigated, and thankfully the courts exist to pursue and punish whoever is responsible if that was the case. Now, if there are 4 members who decided to continue their music careers under the same company, that is their decision, and it deserves respect. I don't know if showing solidarity with KG and kaylee necessarily means boycotting GIRLSET. It's true that supporting the group indirectly gives money to the same company that allegedly mistreated them, but on the other hand the remaining girls also have the right to chase their dreams. We don't know what their current working conditions are, and I truly hope that whoever is responsible for them now is treating them properly and making sure they are safe. If anyone wonders what the current situation of KG and kaylee is, the truth is that not much is known. KG announced that her contractual dispute with JYP Entertainment had come to an end, saying JYP America and KG Crown have mutually agreed to part ways as she concludes her journey with VCHA. Both parties sincerely wish each other all the best in their future endeavors. Thank you. She remains active on her social media. kaylee, on the other hand, released a song called Cotton Candy. And from what I have seen, she is gradually beginning to build herself up as an independent artist without being attached to any company, and she also stays quite active on TikTok. I have also seen people saying that the GIRLSET members are traitors or something similar for continuing their careers, and that they also find it strange that they suddenly seem to have such a good relationship with Mr. J.Y. Park.
And then the wind, honestly.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
To break it down, as I mentioned earlier, everyone makes their own decisions, and the fact that they chose to debut again does not mean that they support what the company supposedly did or anything along those lines, because to begin with they would have been victims too, and furthermore many people associate JYP with J.Y. Park simply because he founded it, and it carries his name, but he is no longer the CEO of the company. He presumably still has influence, yet he no longer handles the decision-making. In addition, KG never stated who exactly was responsible for the mistreatment they allegedly faced. It could have been the company as an institution, meaning managers, producers, executives and everyone involved might have played a role, or perhaps it was the individual who was supposed to oversee them, and from there everything escalated. In any case, it is highly unlikely that J.Y. Park himself was behind everything. To finish, obviously we do not know what the relationship between the girls is like now. I truly hope they still care for each other, and in the same interview they did for Billboard they talked a little about this. I will leave it here to wrap things up.
How did you guys feel whenever headlines hit about a lot of controversy? Maybe KG's lawsuit, Kaylee's health hiatus. How did that hit you guys personally, and did it affect your confidence at all?
It definitely hit hard at some points. Some things were unexpected, some others were not recent news to us. And I feel like we had a lot of deep, intertwined feelings about everything because obviously of our journey where we came from, our relationships with people, with the past members, everything. But I feel like had us to rely on, we just relied on each other, and we were able to talk out how we were feeling with each other, And also, I feel like it's so important that we were able to like put those into songs that we've written as well. That's become a big way for us to express ourselves, and is the way that we want to communicate with the world how we feel. Because frankly, there is just so much to be said that we feel that it's
kind of
you can't describe everything.
To, like, sit down and explain everything.
There's just too much to describe.
I do feel like songs is our way of kind of saying how we feel, and I really hope people try to see that as like our way of
that's what we're saying,
like sharing our story. This is what we feel about the situation. You know, this is like our story. So I really hope that people listen to those songs and the lyrics and try to really see our side and how we feel about it. Because you know, I think that's important. I feel like people haven't heard like from us, so I understand when people have opinions. But I just want
you need both sides of the story.
You need
And this has been all. I hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. It would help me a lot. See ya.